All right, well, welcome back, guys. It is Wednesday, the 23rd of April. First thing on the agenda this morning is I'm gonna punch some more holes in the plastic. We're getting ready to plant the second round of cantaloupes. I'm gonna do this, show you the first cantaloupes, and then we'll talk some in the tractor. Won't be long before they start creeping off the edge here, so I'll need to give my last herbicide probably next week sometime. Watermelons are the same way. They're about the same length on the little runners, so I got to really watch it close because I don't need to let it get away from me before I get back in here one more time on those oldest melons. If you've never seen us do this before, we offset the wheel a couple of inches off center to one side because the drip tape is a couple of inches off center to the other side. So we do that to keep from punching it accidentally. If you watch my last video where we were planting the okra, this is the same wheel that we used for that, 18 inches. We just took it off that frame that we had it on behind the Kubota and put it on this frame that fits a big tractor. So they're interchangeable. You know, once we get to May, which we're almost to May now, from May till about the second week of June, that's probably my most busiest time as far as tractor work goes for me, trying to get it all done on a timely manner, because we're still planting. You know, we're planting peas every 10 days. We're got to get my late watermelon ground ready, my late sweet potato ground ready, my late pea ground ready, all that. And you don't want to do all that too early. There's a lot of steps involved, especially on the late melons and the late sweet potatoes. I got to get all that fertilized. I got to get my second round of fertilizer on my peaches. Got to get the late peas fertilized. I got to start injecting nitrogen about once a week through the drip tape on the plastic. That requires me to about 3 hours at a time once a week for me to just sit there. So that's 3 hours a week that I've got locked into that. I got to keep everything sprayed, got to keep everything cultivated, keep it clean, lay out polypipe. You know, all that is pretty much just me, not counting the help. So it's pretty stressful trying to get it all done, trying to make sure you don't forget anything. I write everything down. I have for many years, and I can pull back my records and look, but still it's a lot to try to remember to make sure nothing doesn't sneak up on you and you're like, whoa, I forgot about that. So obviously the weather in these next 6 to 7 weeks needs to be fairly normal for me to get all that done. Not any kind of extreme flooding, hopefully, because that will certainly delay a lot of that. Okay, let's head back now, and I'm gonna hook up to my 4-row rolling cultivator and bring it back to the field. Okay, I'm gonna plow the second corn. When I get to the end, we'll get out, look at the size of it, look at the size of the first corn. And third corn's coming up too. All right, this is the second corn. You can see how we're plowing and leaving a 10 to 12 inch strip right there. Hopefully the herbicide will hang on a little while longer, the pre-emerge. Normally we will run the furrow plow here in a couple of weeks once the corn gets from knee to waist high, and then we can't really do any kind of plowing after that. But I can come back, and a lot of times we'll use backpacks and spray underneath with Roundup and Liberty, because this is Roundup and Liberty resistant. But we're not really spraying over the top, but you could, but I don't like to do it because I'm too close to all my other crops. But especially when we start irrigating, if we have to irrigate some before harvest, we'll get a flush of weeds, and we'll need to knock that back enough to where it'll hold until we get through with harvest. First corn is probably about knee high. It's growing fast. Got a little bit of fertilizer burn on the tips from that dry fertilizer that I spread, but it won't hurt anything. It'll grow out of it. Okay, the last corn is several inches high, about the height of my hand there. It all came up good, so we've got a good stand. Just need to not have anything happen to it, which normally it would either be some type of wind or storm or hail or even raccoons. We start trapping these raccoons once the corn starts tasseling. We trap a lot of raccoons out here. Coyotes can be bad too. They'll knock it down. Probably we have more trouble with coons, but we've had plenty of trouble with both. It's pretty aggravating too. But once we started trapping them, maybe 3 or 4 years ago, keep the traps out all the time, it's made a big difference and put a dent in them. Doesn't stop it completely, but it's not near as bad as it was. Okay, we're doing the same thing over the levee with the first peas. And we'll get out here in a little bit and look at these also. Okay, we knocked that out. See, these are going to be the true leaves right here on the top. These big leaves here are really just like the cotyledons. So once we get a true leaf or a couple of true leaves on everything. Then we'll come back and put out an insecticide for thrips, aphids, those type things. All right, normally I don't plow quite this early, but it was 9 days from the time that we put out my pre-emerge herbicide until it rained and got activated. So that was 9 days in there where weeds have a chance to come up. And once they're up or almost up, when the pre-emerge gets activated by rain, it's gonna be too late. So I did have some little weeds coming, so I decided to go ahead and plow. Now I did get activation on that band right on top of the row, so we do have herbicide there. Now it sat there for 9 days, so it may not be at 100% strength because it may have broken down a little bit, but that's just how it goes. But I feel like, especially if we get some wet weather coming up, I wanted to go ahead and plow these, so I think that was gonna be my best decision there. If there's no weeds and I get good activation from the beginning, I'll hold off plowing as long as I can. These are what the cantaloupe transplants look like. What the guys do is they'll take a flat and go this way and drop them in the hole and turn around and come back this way and squeeze the dirt around them, and then just keep doing the same thing over and over. I want to show you something in the tomatoes. Now it's April the 23rd. This is going to be early for me, but we've got just a few blooms showing up. Everything's been warm. As soon as we planted those tomatoes, they took off. I would say we're probably on schedule to be early for the tomatoes. Maybe a week. Obviously things can change. But if I have little tomatoes before the 1st of May, that's definitely going to be putting us a little bit ahead. Okay, well, it's the next morning and we got about 3 to 4 tenths of rain. It was raining pretty hard while I was sitting there in the truck, but didn't last too long. Quit, rained a little bit more, quit. So it's a little wet, but not enough to keep us from what we were doing today. The guys will finish up planting the cantaloupes this morning, and then I'm headed to the peach orchard to spray with the hooded sprayer underneath the trees. That's got to be done this time of year about once a month. So it's a good time for me to do it this morning. When I get back, I'll go back to the field and show you what the guys are going to be doing after they finish with the cantaloupes. never seen us do this before, we come back right in the middle where the tree trunk is with something different, because we can't get it with the hood because we can't weave in and out of the trees. So this is a mound, just a raised bed where the tree is. So the hood gets here and then over here. So we'll come back with a what we call a peach dolly, and it's just a hooded sprayer mounted on a dolly that we just push around kind of like a vacuum cleaner, and we'll get everything that we can't get with this. I like to do this not at the same time as the dolly, because we can go ahead and let this die, and when we come back with the dolly we can see where the strip is that we've left and we know what to get. If we try to do them at the same time, then we're guessing with the dolly as far as how far the hood gets and all that. So we definitely leave strips if we do them at the same time. If we do it later, then we can kind of eliminate that. As you can see, we've got grasses, just some various different kind of little weeds. They're not too tall now, but they're perfect size to spray. If we waited another week, that could be up to a foot tall with the rain that we've had and the warm weather. So we try to stay on top of it. This is what the okra looks like after we got that rain on it, so that was perfect timing. Hopefully we'll get close to 100% survival rate on the transplants. Okay, the guys knocked out the cantaloupes this morning. Didn't take them too long. This is the second planting. We've got 2 full rows all the way down. And then over here where we had the first cantaloupes, they stopped halfway. So the first cantaloupes is 2 full rows and 2 half rows. Second planting, 2 half rows and 2 full rows. Variety's the same, Avatar. We only plant 1 variety. And we'll do a third planting. I'm probably gonna plant it in the greenhouse here in a day or 2, and then that'll be the last planting on plastic, and then we'll have 1 more, the 4th one, on bare ground. Okay, the last thing I'm going to show you on the video today is what we do to help prevent southern blight in tomatoes. It's a soil-borne disease, pathogen, whatever you want to call it. For us, when we see the symptoms, it's usually when the plants are mature, a lot of humidity, you're having to water a lot, it's hot. Right there where the soil and the stem meet together, it'll rot right there. And basically the plant just wilts and dies, and it spreads, and it's not good. And there's only so many things you can do about it. I'm going to show you what we do about it, which has helped a lot. That does not mean it'll be a 100% cure. Since we started doing this, we've only had really 1 issue 1 time. Okay, these are the tomatoes we just planted a few days ago. Okay, we have a 25-gallon tank with this electric pump, and we have the nozzle taken out of that wand. We want 8 ounces of solution in every hole, so we measure it in a cup and time it. So the guy holding the wand knows like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. He knows what to count to get that 8 ounces per plant. Then he moves on to the next. The tank that we use, that's the only thing I use it for. I'm too scared to have it cross-contaminated with any type of herbicide, so I don't put anything in that tank except for this. This is a one-time deal on the older tomatoes right here. We did them the same way soon after we planted them. What it does is it creates a seal right around the base of the plant, and if you don't disturb it, then that seal doesn't break. The chemical that we use is blocker. It's got the same active ingredient as the old Terrachlor, and it's labeled for it, and it really helps a lot. We do it in tomatoes and peppers. They both can get southern blight. They're both in the same family. So all of our bell peppers, hot peppers, tomatoes all get 1 8-ounce squirt right in the transplant hole. Also, in addition to this, another thing that we do is I'll make 2 applications of Fontellus fungicide. One right after we plant, soon after we plant, and then another one about 14 days later. So doing those 2 things, the blocker and 2 applications of Fontellus, has helped me. Now, your soil may not have southern blight, or you may have it a little bit, or you may have it a lot. For us, we have it some, but I have not seen any symptoms probably in the last several years. These gnats here are terrible, terrible. I get all in my mouth and my ears. So, like I said, we've only really had 1 instance on the tomatoes, and it was during harvest, late harvest maybe, and they all just kind of declined and it was over. I'm not a disease expert guy. I can't explain to you how it works really, but it's soil borne and it will spread pretty rapidly. And I think it probably sits there for a long time. I think maybe if you have it, you have it. So that's what we do, and it's not hard. It's just something that I got on my list every year. And when we plant tomatoes, we're going to do this, and when we plant peppers, we're going to do this. So hopefully that helps. Chemical names again are blocker that goes in the transplant hole, and Fontellus foliar application twice. Well, I guess we're gonna wrap up the video here. Most of my videos are just kind of hodgepodge, jumping from one thing to the next, but that's pretty much how our day goes, is jumping from one thing to the next. So I hope y'all enjoyed it. I tell you what, it's nice with no wind. This week has been perfect as far as the wind goes. I wish it would stay like that, but you never know. Anyway, at least I don't have to be screaming for you to hear me. And it's nice on everything that's growing too. It gives them kind of some relief. So anyway, if y'all have not subscribed, I'd appreciate it if y'all would do that. And we'll just keep cranking out the videos. I don't know what we'll get into next, but it'll be something. And thank y'all for watching, and see y'all next time.